I'm gonna beat you in person.
You already have.
Oh man, we were playing Smash, and I wrecked this guy.
As you should.
Well, and with that, hello everyone, and welcome to Nerd Break, the podcast where we take a break from life and nerd out about our favorite things. And joining me in person for the first time in forever is Zoms.
Hello.
And of course, the other lovely voice in this discussion is Moxie.
I sound like a dying cow.
Hi, Moxie.
Hello, how are you?
You do not sound like a dying cow, you just sound like Moxie.
Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I wish Moxie was here.
See, now he says this all the time.
Because then we could truly gang up on you in games. That's why he wouldn't stick around.
I think Zoms does that. Well, I honestly do.
Oh yeah. He beats you every day.
I think if we all had a house together, and then Moxie shouting from somewhere in the house to come and help her beat Joseph, I'd come running from whichever direction.
No. Please no. No.
Probably gonna happen.
Let's go into what we're actually here to discuss, which is earlier in the week. We're recording this on Saturday, but earlier in the week, at the top of the week, I got really excited because Nintendo dropped the announcement that we had been waiting for before E3 Zoms, and that is we're getting a new model of the Switch, and they are conveniently naming it the Switch OLED model, which, hooray for original naming, I guess? I don't know.
The Switch Pro.
I remember it.
Yeah, this is definitely not a Switch Pro. For just the sake of argument, the basic specs of this thing are that it has a 7-inch screen, a 7-inch OLED screen, so it's a little bit bigger size-wise, a little bit longer than the standard Switch. It has 64 gigs of internal memory as opposed to the 32 that's on board the standard Switch. The kickstand is now more like what is on the Microsoft Surface tablets, so it takes the entire space of the backside of the Switch instead of that flimsy little kickstand that's offset on the side. And it has a new docking station that has a LAN port in it. And that's it. The internal specs are the exact same as the original Switch.
Damn it.
Yep. Boy, do I have opinions on that.
I have opinions too, but let's start with just the basic first look at this thing because aesthetically, this is a little bit different because the model they showed off is white and black, and the dock itself is, for that particular version, white and black. So, anybody have opinions about how this actually looks?
I mean, I'm a sucker for monochromatic colors, so I actually like it.
I like checkered.
I'm gonna say this: it looks exactly like a PS5.
I mean, Zoms, you're wearing checkered right now.
I always
Just
do.
saying.
Kind of my signature.
Yes, it is.
Oh my! Maybe we'll turn you into a toaster.
That's weird. Moxie, here's what I have to tell you.
What?
I was going around. I always get a drink, and I'm in here in Brosev's house, and I'm looking around. I could not find a single drop of alcohol in this house. It's a hell house.
That's
Um,
blasphemous.
we're
Why are you
veering
there?
wildly off
Why are
topic.
you there then?
I
Like,
don't know.
dude, hang out with me. We got the
I'm,
booze here.
I'm going over there.
It's like we got some mead and we got some beer here.
Some
And
mead.
wine. Sangria as well.
Okay, diving back to the topic, if we could please. Let's start with the screen because this is now an OLED screen on the new Nintendo Switch as opposed to the original LCD. So this is going to be quite a bit brighter, and supposedly way more vibrant color wise. The darks will be much darker, blacks truer black. The colors will pop better. I mean, this sounds very much like a major upgrade.
What I really
Yeah.
want, I want this to play really complicated games, but it won't.
Well, yes, the internal specs are not different.
See, that's what I want because I have the original Switch. The battery is not the best.
Speaking of the battery, though, the battery will be on par with the refresh model of the Switch. So you are getting that extra double battery life technically.
The
And
V2.
mhm.
Yeah, but I would have expected a little bit more, like a better upgrade, if that makes sense.
um, Nintendo is saying currently in their press releases that the OLED actually, even though it's more efficient energy wise, it's the extra screen size is going to ding the overall battery power because they're just using the same size battery in in this OLED model. There is a chance that you could get more battery life out of it, but Nintendo isn't saying that you're going to. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
the ultimate thing here is that it's $50 more than the standard model, which is right exactly the price point that I predicted this at. So,
You get a cookie.
thanks. I like cookies.
Hmm.
How thoughtful.
Hmm.
It's poisoned.
Um,
Dipped in rum.
Ooh.
my argument here kind of becomes how much can you reasonably expect for a $50 price difference? The fact that we're getting a better screen, a dock that has a LAN port, which for the original Switch was something that you had to buy an adapter for, and then the did I mention the double memory already? You get 64 as opposed to 32, so that's an increase. All these extra little bells and whistles, bigger screen, brighter screen, better screen, and then on top of that, the LAN port, the extra memory. How much more can you reasonably expect for the $50 extra?
I wanted faster loading times.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on there.
Loading times can technically be optimized though by developers. Plus, you can't get a whole lot faster technically than you already have because if you're buying physical at least Switch cartridges or you're, saving them onto a faster SD card, then that's about as fast as you're really going to be able to expect technically unless you go into the really deep end of like PS5 territory with their special SSD that's optimized specifically for the PS5, and then that's just a whole nother can of worms. Realistically, it is.
Yeah. Like, I
Mm,
don't know. This seems so underwhelming compared to what I could have imagined.
I am a bit disappointed.
I mean, the true temper of this is the fact that before, with all the rumors, we were getting rumors of like 4K output and all this other wild stuff. This is Nintendo we are talking about. They don't prescribe to doing just whatever. They take the technology that's long since past its prime and they try to build something better out of it because they're trying to keep costs down. Would what would you, Moxie, expect out of the extra $50 price bump then?
An upgrade to the actual processing system, hardware, faster loading, um, possibly just a general tweak of the battery or at least the components. Because if you look at the other consoles that have come out with the new and improved versions, it's always tweaking of the hardware by way of, yeah, screen. Okay, I get it, screen. The appeal of the Switch is the screen, portability. But what about the actual inner mechanics? Are we going to improve the battery life? Because with a portable, no matter what, the more you use a portable, like any hardware, just like a desktop, the more you turn it on, it's going to eventually slowly decay over time. Same thing with a portable, to the point where the battery's so bad you can only use it as a console. So, is there anything that they can do to make
You're
the
preaching to the choir.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question then that's hypothetical because here's the thing. You're talking about extra battery life and
and better hardware, period.
well, okay. If we had not had the refresh of the standard Switch that effectively doubled the battery life of the Switch, would you consider the double the battery life of this newer model an upgrade and worth the $50 price?
If we hadn't already had that upgrade, yes, but we've already had that upgrade, and now we're
See,
having
I
a
figured you were
third
going to say that.
installation. We're having a third installation, and I'm not even talking about, like, the Lite, Nintendo Switch Lite. This
Moxie
is
for
the
president.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, hear this?
Um, I'm gonna say something, and it's something that's actually been passing the rounds on the internet. Anyways, Nintendo iterates a lot on their handheld models. They had multiple iterations of the 3DS alone, from the standard 3DS to the 3DS XL to the new 3DS to the new 2DS, the 2DS. We had almost a dozen iterations, and only two of those had better battery life, and only one of those, well, two of those technically, being the new DS lines, had better processors, and even those were marginal at best. So this is not more than likely going to be the end of the iterations we see of the Switch. This is just
See,
the
and
latest one.
that's another thing that I've got a issue with, but that's not just for Nintendo. It's for all these companies, and I understand once they make a console, they're gonna continue tweaking it and making it better. But as many additions that come out of the console every single time, it like, at this point, I'm not even gonna buy this one. I'm gonna probably wait and see if there's another one that comes out. One that's better probably towards Christmas or the beginning of next year. Something where, "Oh, by the way, guys, we took the, OLED and made it even better, and now we have the MLED," or something, I don't know. Um,
V2.
V2, something like that. But because this has become a trend, I I'm at the point like, "Okay, yeah, okay, so when's the next one coming out? Or what are you gonna do then?
I'm gonna
Is it
pop your
even
bubble.
worse? Is it
I'm
even,
gonna
like, worth buying now? Or should I just wait?"
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna pop your bubble
That's
because
inappropriate.
You think you're gonna pop my bubble, but I might be already, got my mind made up, Broseph.
well, the thing is a brand new chipset that ultimately improves the processing power of the Switch is not something I can reasonably expect out of Nintendo for one major reason. The current chipset in the Switch is got a lot of programming magic built into it because it's scaling games.
Did you say magic?
Yes, I said magic.
So
Is it
Nintendo has
gathering?
wizards now.
Mhm.
They always have been, just for argument. But when you change out chipsets, that throws all your programming out the window and you have to start from scratch, which is what
Yeah.
they've done, for example, between the PS3 and the PS4. That was wildly different development architecture there.
Again, do you think they're not gonna do that? Because, again, we're talking about consoles and how there's multiple iterations over a
Just
years of its cycle.
I just don't expect Nintendo to put an entirely brand new chipset into a console that doesn't ultimately replace the Switch outright to a certain extent. I could see them sticking with backwards compatibility, but that's going to take a lot of work on their end for how that would actually work. I just do not see them switching chipsets just yet.
I do.
Mhm.
Explain your reason why, Zoms.
They have wizards.
Of the coast.
Oh.
Nintendo of America is near a coast, and I mean Japan is surrounded by ocean, so
Mhm.
You are making illogical leaps. Illogical.
kind of like how I fixed your computer with the sound output.
That's neither
Yeah.
here nor there.
The fact that you couldn't hear me and
How
yet
many
I looks like
times? I'm
talking.
so glad that I'm here because how many times has Bros have told us he can't hear us? There's a problem on our end, and really it's this user over here.
I know, right? It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat you with a pillow when you go to sleep.
That's just wrong and disturbing on so many levels.
I could put soap in the pillowcase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we focused a lot on the Switch, but let's focus on the new dock for a minute. We're losing a USB port on the inside of the dock, I assume, because the LAN port is on the inside of the dock, which is technically the only new thing for anybody that is not playing this console as a handheld. Any thoughts? Anybody that would actually make use of this function? Zoms?
I don't know what would you use it for?
Well, for Smash Bros. For one, for beating me up online because wireless connections are not technically optimal
Oh, yeah.
for any online game.
I do like to beat you up in Smash
See, I knew you do. I know
or
you
in
do.
life, just in general.
We like to bully you.
I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you use the new LAN port,
Maybe.
Moxie?
That's hard to say. I just don't like the sound that it takes up the entire back.
Well, it doesn't take up the entire back. It's just they got rid of one of the USB ports and put that in its place.
I don't know if I would like that, and I can't exactly pinpoint why.
Well, what about the aesthetics of the dock? Because the dock is actually rounded and curved on the edges instead of square. I think that looks kind of neat, especially in the white version. But maybe I'm too big of a fanboy at this point.
I mean, for me, I've always been a person where, yeah, even though I made the comment that I like the monochromatic scheme. Well, scream. Yeah, I'm screaming and rage at so many things these days. Um, but that's just being a millennial. Anyway, as far as it goes, I'm actually not big into aesthetics as long as it works, as long as it does what I want it to do. It's something that's always been with me. So I don't care. Like my desktop computer is the ugliest thing, but guess what? It works and it plays games pretty pretty dang well.
You know, one other point to note, this new dock is going to work with the old Switch and vice versa. The old dock works with the new Switch. So you're not actually losing anything. Zoms is
Yeah,
fervently looking
except
at the
like
Switch.
if you go and turn in the Switch to exchange to get the new one, they're gonna probably want the dock at whatever GameStop you're turning it into. Just saying.
Oh yeah, no, that
Like, then you have to buy a new dock and like, "What? Okay, yeah, that's
I
again,
mean,
probably nitpicking on that, but
well,
just
technically because you get a dock with every Switch you buy, because
oh, so
without it,
you are getting a dock with this then?
oh yes, the
Oh,
new
then
Switch OLED comes with a new dock.
It better.
yeah. I was gonna say, when you were saying that, like, "Oh, it fits the old dock," I was like, "Well, I thought that it came with a dock, but now I guess it doesn't."
Oh no, it
But
does.
oh, it does? Okay.
I'm just saying that it has the ability that you can take your Switch and go over to like a buddy's house, and if they have the new OLED
Mm,
model dock, you will still be able to
okay.
dock your Switch onto their dock. And
Okay.
vice versa. If they take their OLED model over to your house, they didn't bring their dock, they can still dock into your old dock.
Yeah. Okay.
Old dock is in the current Switch
Yes.
dock.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's interchangeable.
Yes.
Same thing with the Joy Cons.
Right.
Will be interchangeable.
Which is something else to bring up because Nintendo is not changed the Joy-Cons at all. So your current assortment of Joy-Cons, all your controllers, will work with the new OLED model. That is a mouthful.
We are getting white Joy Cons now.
Um, that's kind of
Good, so I can get it all smeary with my Cheeto dust.
oh the memes. Oh the
Mm.
memes. Um, this is true. Colors though have I don't know if white has been previously available, but that's kind of the neatness of the new OLED model for me is the fact that we're getting a white dock and we're getting white Joy-Cons. all these other colors, why not white? I just also have to laugh though because it's a PS5 version of the Switch. It's an Oreo in reverse.
If they would have made a better processor, I would have been like, they're pointing at PlayStation. This is a challenge.
Yep.
Again, though, there's not many processors that they could actually switch to. It would only be one particular processor that they could switch to and probably get away with this. But we're talking again about the programming problem that they would have with switching to a newer processor. Right now, everything works. And by some miracle, we have gotten ports of games we technically should never have gotten. We got The Witcher 3 on the Switch. That never should have happened.
I mean, look,
Borderlands,
Doom runs on the Nintendo Switch.
Bioshock.
See,
Mm.
we just got so many different games. That
Vampire is on the Nintendo Switch, so I can scream at that.
see,
I love that game.
there's just so many games that on a handheld we should never have ever been able to get, and yet we got them, and we are still getting more. The only problem is now going to be the games that are coming out on like the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, but even those games are currently still playable on their previous generation. You can almost count on your hands alone the actual number of games that are exclusive to those consoles and not capable of running on their previous generation of hardware
Oh yeah,
because
don't get
they're
me
just not
wrong.
optimized.
I honestly do think the Nintendo Switch is an amazing console, but again, I'm just saying it just seems very underwhelming and it's like, "Oh, better screen, better this, better that," but as someone who's still using the original Switch that first came out, I was actually banking to see what big changes, and it just this doesn't constitute for me, I cannot constitute dropping 300 something bucks on something that they're probably gonna replace with the final version at some point. Like, it to me, I cannot. And I know what you said about chips and about all that, but I'm fairly certain they're going to make another version of this.
I agree. They have the chip. It's hidden away in Area 51.
Mm,
Oh, sure. All right. Well, final thought since Moxie has stated it more than once.
yeah,
Real quick though, the only other upgrade that we haven't talked about yet is the fact that the audio on the new Switch in handheld mode, the speakers are better. I don't know what they've done to make them, but they are saying that it has enhanced audio.
it's
Maybe they have
probably
a better chip.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. Don't, don't go there.
they probably
Mhm.
just deepened the surround somehow, which for me, I'm always pro more clearer, better sound. So when I know some enemy's about to kill me, please just give me a heads up. Which better sound is always a win for me.
I wasn't too sure, but I was on this particular website, and so yeah, there is the OLED Switch available for pre-order. It has a release date, but there was also a second thing where it is the Switch OLED with the blue and red Joy-Con, and it looks like it looks like just a standard Joy-Con or Joy or Switch with the blue and red Joy-Cons.
See, on mine, I have the bright yellow blue. That's more my style.
Well, I think the point he's trying to make is that the OLED model comes in,
Two colors.
yeah.
Yep. I do like I like color in my life. Colors of the rainbow.
Well, going back to the final thought,
Mhm.
Oh, you need alcohol in your house. I agree.
no,
I do agree.
Mhm.
okay. Who is actually among our group going to be getting this? Moxie, you're saying no?
Knowing it's $350 and more than likely they're gonna come out with at least one other version probably in a year. At 350 right now, that's a car payment for me. You know what I mean? And or that's like that would cover my bills or my groceries. I've always been kind of a penny pincher on this podcast, but It's honestly true. I look at it in the way of money-wise. Is it worth it right now? Or should I wait either when it's around for a while, buy it on sale when it's heavily discounted, or just wait for the newer version? Is it worth it? And right now, it's not worth it for me.
Okay, Zoms.
Um, my, I get exactly what Moxie is saying, but for me, I have only gotten my Switch last year. I'm coming up on the anniversary for it, and I
And you
did
have the
get.
refreshed model.
I do have the version 2, but I also have the warranty. So I may just go back to the store and say, hey, I need to exercise my warranty. Can I just pay the difference for this Switch OLED?
That would be better. I would totally do that, Zoms.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, so the short answer is you're potentially going to get it.
Only because of the warranty. Yep.
For me, I am actually going to get this. I have, like Moxie, the original model, version 1. So, and mine is older. Mine is the oldest of all of us because I got it the year it came out. I got it a few months after launch. And surprisingly, it has held up through all of that, through all of my rigorous gaming. I'm not dumping my old model, but I am going to get this new model because it is a significant enough upgrade for me, in my opinion, just because of how I use it. I use the Switch primarily as a handheld. So the enhancements to the screen and to the battery and to the memory are all sufficient, in my opinion, that it's worth an upgrade for me, despite the fact that I'll be paying full retail price for it, more than likely, and not getting rid of my old model.
Are we going to get the new Xboxes and PlayStation 5s in stores anytime soon now?
Oh, more than likely not. But okay, I think that does it for our little discussion here. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, let us know. Drop a comment down on this video. Let us know if you have any questions. Send us your feedback and your questions to our email address at nerdbreakpodcast@gmail.com.
Send
Wow,
us
he said it
lots
on
of
his
questions.
own.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't have to be prompted. I'm proud of him.
Send us lots of questions. If you got questions, I wasn't going to leave people hanging. Let's talk about anime really quick. Yes, I was told that the Rising of the Shield Hero second season was pushed back. I'm very upset. Email us at that email. Let's vent.
Okay, and with that out of the way,
I'm going to rage.
thank you again, everyone, for listening. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and tune in every Saturday evening at 9 p.m. as we live stream. That does it, though. On behalf of myself and Zoms here live,
I'm alive.
You're not alive, sweetie. No, not anymore.
and Moxie.
Unfortunately, I'm alive, so I have to deal with all the crap going on in the world. I envy you.
See you next time, everyone. Bye.
That was beautiful.